Enos, you 45 years old, you ain't met that guy of your dream, but there's a busboy who loves you. You're not attracted to him. You're 45, but you know you may die alone. Are you going to marry this guy?
I don't think 45 means I'm dying alone. So like already there's like that disconnect.
But what men are saying is the older you're getting, that wall, so you have to start being step into reality. So with that being said, because I'm trying to prove the point is just answer the question if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, I wouldn't, right? But that doesn't, that's like so far to the extreme, right? So to answer your question simply, no, I would not get with a busboy because I feel like I'm going to be dying alone. But the idea of like that's my only option that will ever exist, and like at 45 my life is over if I haven't found somebody, I think is like there are other ways to seek out partners no matter what your age group is or what your life circumstances is or what your lifestyle is. At the same time, my expectations for a partner are not going to be the same as they were when I was 25.
Of
Right.
course.
And so I think, but that's where like that disconnect exists, right? We're hearing so many women who are later in their life or are not quote unquote desirable to these men, right? Saying, well, that man should want me. And these men are saying, well, we're explaining why we don't want you and you're getting mad about it, but we still, regardless of your feelings, we're not choosing you. Right. And I think that's where, I don't know. Does that make sense? Am I rambling?
It does, but I think that let me just clarify what I was saying. When I speak, I'm not talking about the delusion of things. I'm not talking about that 1%er, that guy who's making $300,000. I'm talking about if you go out and you can't find the guy who you would find yourself to be with, assume that you're not delusional. Okay. But then there's this guy who maybe doesn't make as much as you, I would say bus driver or whatever profession that is. At that point, would you marry that person because he's in love with you, just because you know he's who's available? And don't get me wrong, I know that you have other options, but obviously those options haven't worked thus far. So
yeah, so like if you're a bus driver, like yeah, because here's the thing is like I also grew up in a household where I was taught that love is something that you foster and develop, right? Even though those feelings are not there up front, if that's a good person and you're a good person, just through doing life together, you can build that. And it could possibly be something that is such a deeper and more meaningful bond than like that immediate lust, that infatuation that comes at the start, right? So if I'm, let's not say 45, let's say 55. If I'm 55 and there's that bus driver who's a good man who treats me well, and I feel like, you know, I'm getting later in life, then like, you know what, let's do that. And I don't consider that settling. Let me make that very clear.
I don't consider it settling either, but here again, the men are saying you're giving the best of your years, waiting out for these other guys, and then you want to wait at 55.
But they're also saying choose better, do better. So like there's this like middle ground that needs to exist, right? Because you can't tell women to choose better and they've been choosing Pookies and Ray Rays no matter how hard women are trying to find a good man, and then tell them you waited too long. Like, listen, like this idea of people that fit together is really not as broad. Like you can't just smush two people together and it's going to work, right? There are so many other factors to that. So yes, some people aren't able to find their person until later in life because they just either weren't that person, didn't have access to that person, or their expectations were unrealistic. So like, so what?
All right, Cap.
How
And
did
then,
I still question the like I still question the question because there's nuance in your question to Enos. You asked her would she marry a busboy. The nuance to that is how did they meet? Like how did he end up in her orbit to where?
yeah,
So you met the bus. Wait. Let's clarify. Wait. Let's clarify what a bus boy is. A bus boy. She's not going to meet a bus boy at a restaurant unless she left her purse after dinner. and she went back in.
The ballet guy.
Like
You're tipping him.
that, she's not gonna see him like that. He's gonna look more like an object. And when I say that, it's more like the ambiance to the restaurant, the ambient, like it's a person to do a task for her. Like that's not the way that works. Like you're not gonna spark up this random conversation with this random ass dude that's your busboy. You dining alone? You dining alone? So you went to the restaurant? Wait. No. Think about this for a minute. Think about this for a minute. Because when you say busboy, were you sitting on the bus next to the bus boy while you're trying to talk to the bus driver? Like this shit is crazy. Like the person will never end up in your orbit like that unless you meet them at like a grocery store.
He's at his cousin's house, and
why is she at his cousin's house?
Lives next door to
you see what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about? Like, it just real life doesn't happen like that. It doesn't.
It does.
So do you not socialize? Hang on, wait. I'm gonna ask a couple questions. Do you not socialize? Like, you coach?
Of course, I socialize.
Have you never interacted with like the parents of the kids or their teachers?
Not in a way where I'm trying to wait. Let's talk real life. I'm not gonna talk to them in a way to where I'm gonna invite them to dinner.
But so that's you and your personal standards, right? So here's the thing:
so you don't have standards, you're gonna talk to the busboy?
Sorry?
I mean, I'm gonna use the same logic. So you're saying you don't have standards, you talk to the busboy?
Absolutely.
Like he's not gonna end up in your orbit like that.
No, so here's the thing, right? Let's talk about this because I think it's important. Marcus talked about earlier how, like, when he's on a date or was on dates with women, the one thing he would look at is the way that she would interact with the people at the restaurant. I've also worked in the restaurant industry. So the busboys, they're not ornamental to me. They are human beings who have a job. Yes, when they're clearing the table, thank you so much. How long have you been working here? You know what I mean? You make small talk with people. I'm when I want to be, a social person. I talk to people around me, and it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. That's fine. So, like, I don't understand. Like, we want women to be demure. We want them to be this friendly. We want them to be like these very soft beings. And then, like, when we say, like, yes, we acknowledge the bus boy. Yes, we acknowledge the bus driver. Yes, we acknowledge, the guy at the gas station who's cleaning off the windshield. Like, when we're saying, like, these people are not ornamental and we have conversations, one, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're interested, but two, it doesn't mean that we're not necessarily interested either. Shan just talked about her love for, like, UPS drivers, FedEx drivers. You know what I mean? Like, these people don't disappear into the scenery just because of their job. Not for women who are grounded in, like, their environment. Yes, there are women that do that. Yes, there are women that are elitist and, like, they can't even actually see these men because they're not actively seeking them out. But your average woman, your everyday woman, notices these people.
So wait. So first of all, think about this for like these are the issues that I'm having. We're not having real conversations. These people are at work. So while they're at work, hey, yo, I'm glad we chopped it up. What's your IG? Hey, yo, let me get your number. So you can turn around and potentially get them fired. They're gonna run the risk of doing that. In most cases, me as a server, as a bartender, as a busboy, as a dishwasher, which are all jobs that I have done in my life, I would never risk my job to holler at a piece of ass that's sitting at the table. I never did that. That doesn't make sense. People don't unless she hollered at me first. Wait, she hollered at me first. All bets are off. But in casual conversation and passing conversation, in the conversation we're talking about women being friendly, no, I'm not gonna come at you. And most of the time
you're gonna be staring at her, bro. You're gonna be hoping she gives you some eye contact. Hopefully, you telling me that when you you say you was a what job? Give me the job so I can set this thing for you.
Okay, so if we're talking about my past, I have been a bartender. I have been a server.
Stop there.
Okay.
So you at the bar. And Halle Berry, not the famous one, but a lookalike, walk herself into the bar. And she get the grinning at you when you pass her drink. You not going to shoot your shot?
Nope. I never did.
That's cap.
I never did. Thus, I was never fired.
So much cap.
Now, if you come at me and say
My
some off the
hands are
wall shit, I'm
stacking
gonna
up right
reply.
now. My hands
Oh
are
But
my
just
no,
stacking up
there's a
right
certain way.
now.
Like I don't like. I don't.
Oh,
If this is what y'all
no,
did,
no.
if this is what y'all did and how y'all moved, that actually says more about the way y'all actually think and see things
It's
than
not
it does
so.
about me. Because I never
AP,
one time came on to
you're
Hold
anybody.
on.
thinking
Let me
about it.
just tell
We
him
got
this.
people
Not
on
once.
Let me just
with
tell him this.
numerous
Before-
cap. Shan has on a beret. Okay,
raspberry, but we
Listen,
don't believe.
so what you're
Raspberry
talking about,
beret.
AP, what you're talking about actually goes against nature, because I read something one time and I looked at it in myself. It is not that you're trying to get at this woman and distract yourself. Beautiful women or women that are extremely attractive to you are distracting. Like literally,
Very.
men go stupid. Like oh. So it's not that you want to do something. You might
So
look. As a matter of
you
fact,
forget you're at work. I mean,
switch
what are
it
we
around.
talking
Switch it
about?
around. The same thing happens to women. So if you notice that a woman isn't even in your section, but keep coming by and asking you, "Do you want something?" That's a way of flirting. You know, I've done that about 1,000 times. That's not even my section. Cleaning a table that ain't even ready to be bussed yet. You good? You need anything? More tea for you?
So
you
you
don't have.
never was flirting with
But
the customer.
not like I said. Now, if they can't, no, I'm not even cleaning it up. I'm saying exactly what I just said. If they didn't give me those signals and those signs and said something to me, no, I never went out of my way to say, "Hey, yo, shawty." No, not one time, not once.